making headlines this hour. President Dr. Mohamed Muizzu issues a decree amending the Drugs Act to facilitate the availability of methylphenidate as a first-line treatment for attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. Minister of Homeland Security, Labor and Technology says the government's goal through its expansive initiative to reform the management of the migrant workforce is to align the nation with top international standards by the end of the current administrative term. Public Service Media receives a special award for media excellence at the 21st Asia Media Summit, AMS.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Assalamu alaikum and welcome to PSM News in English with me, Idham Naeem. President Dr. Mohamed Muizzu issues a decree demanding the Drugs Act to facilitate the availability of methylphenidate as a first-line treatment for attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, ADHD.
The amendment came into effect through a presidential decree issued on 12 May pursuant of the Drugs Act and published in the Government Gazette effective immediately. The amendment was initiated upon the recommendation of the National Drug Control Council and subsequently deliberated in the Cabinet. Following Cabinet approval, the proposal was submitted to the Parliament in accordance with the Drugs Act. At the 17th sitting of the first session of the Parliament held on 11th May, the Parliament approved the removal of methylphenidate from the list of prohibited drugs prescribed under Schedule 1 of the Act. With this amendment, the legal framework now allows for the availability of methylphenidate in the Maldives as a first-line treatment option for individuals diagnosed with ADHD. Methylphenidate is recognized as a primary treatment for ADHD, one of the most prevalent developmental conditions in early childhood. Medical research demonstrates that integrating this medication with therapeutic interventions can substantially alleviate underlying symptoms. Relevant regulatory authorities affirm the medication serves as an essential and highly important treatment for children managing the condition, reinforcing the clinical imperative of the legislative change.
Ali Ihsan, the Minister of Homeland Security, Labor and Technology, says the government's goal through its expansive initiative to reform the management of the migrant workforce is to align the nation with top international standards by the end of the current administrative term.
Speaking on the state broadcaster's program, Rajamiyad, Minister Ihsan detailed efforts to systematically locate and deport all undocumented migrant workers. Authorities aim to identify these individuals through the third phase of Operation Kurangi, ensuring deportations prior to 17th November. By the conclusion of the current presidential term, Ihsan noted the Maldives will be recognized as a premier nation in ethical migrant labor management. Citing benchmarks in Singapore and Dubai, he noted that the Maldives has reduced its undocumented rate to 2%, with a target of 1%. Minister Ihsan said the current administration inherited a system where the identities of approximately 300,000 workers were unknown. In response, a biometric registration program has captured data from 98% of the targeted population as of 1st May. This information will form a centralized national registry to combat illegal immigration. To further fortify the framework, the administration is overhauling a system that Minister Ihsan described as having descended into a highly dangerous state of operation, characterized by widespread abuse. Investigations revealed migrant workers paid illicit fees of $3,000 to $15,000 to secure entry. The government is now drafting legislative amendments to reinstate official recruitment agencies, mandate independent audits, and limit recruitment fees to 1 month's salary.
A regional meeting on combating human trafficking begins in the Maldives. The meeting will run from 12th to 14th May. The meeting is jointly organized by the Ministry of Homeland Security, Labor and Technology and the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime, UNODC. The main objectives of the meeting are to strengthen regional cooperation, improve the collection, analysis and sharing of information on illegal migration and trafficking, identify trafficking incidents, protect victims, support investigations, and develop stronger policies against trafficking and smuggling. 6 countries are participating in the regional meeting, including representatives from India, Bhutan, Nepal, and Bangladesh. Representatives from the Maldives include officials from Maldives Police Service, Maldives Immigration, and the Anti-Trafficking in a Person Anti-Tip Office. Speaking at the opening ceremony, State Minister at the Ministry of Homeland Security, Labour and Technology, Dr. Abdullah Fairush stressed the importance of regional cooperation, evidence-based approaches, and joint efforts to prevent crimes such as human trafficking and migrant smuggling. The Homeland Security Ministry said the meeting is expected to improve institutional capacity, strengthen national information sharing systems, and deepen cooperation with regional and international partners against cross-border crimes. Public Service Media PSM receives a special award for media excellence at the 21st Asia Media Summit AMS.
The award was presented in recognition of PSM's efforts to drive progress in the media and broadcasting sector. As part of the gala dinner and AIBD International Media Awards Night held during the summit, awards were also presented to outstanding television and radio programs produced by broadcasters across the Asia-Pacific region. A total of 5 awards were presented during the event, including Best Radio Program, Best TV Program, Commendation Awards, and the Special Media Excellence Award. In the radio category, the Best Program Award was presented to Vietnam's VOV World Voice of Vietnam for its program titled Peaceful Vietnamese New Year in Every Home, a sweet command from the heart of soldiers. The Best TV Program Award was presented to South Korea's Korean Broadcasting System for its program Life of the Burning Earth, The Vanishing Season. In addition, special certificates were presented to AMS partners during the event. Various welcome activities were also organized for participants, showcasing Maldivian heritage and culture through traditional dances and performances, including Bodubaru.
Ahmed Shakib, the Managing Director of Public Service Media PSM, says at the inaugural ceremony of the 21st Asia Media Summit that the rapid advancement of technology has significantly amplified the responsibilities of the press. Addressing the event at the Villa Nautica Maldives Resort, Shakib underscored the historical and modern relevance of the theme Maldives 2.0 from tradition to tech, noting that Maldivians sustained connections across disparate islands long before modern networks.
Addressing the event at the Villa Nautica Maldives Resort, Shakib underscored the historic and modern relevance of the theme Maldives 2.0 from tradition to tech, noting that Maldivians sustained connections across disparate islands long before modern networks. Today, he observed technological progress is evident throughout every atoll. Shakib highlighted that as capabilities expand, the burden of journalistic responsibility simultaneously intensifies. He highlighted that the media's role extends beyond the dissemination of information to include cultivating public trust, advancing cultural heritage, fortifying democratic institutions, and ensuring every citizen is afforded a voice. PSM, as the state broadcaster, will remain steadfast in leveraging modern tools to serve the public, he affirmed, asserting that journalists must ensure technology ultimately serves human progress. The summit, jointly organized by PSM and the Asia Pacific Institute for Broadcasting Development (AIBD), host over 300 international delegates. The Chief Executive Officer of the AIBD expressed gratitude for the arrangements and urged media entities to embrace technological tools to propel the industry forward. The future trajectory of the media is inextricably linked to collaborative efforts and public trust, the President of the AIBD General Conference and the Director General of the Public Relations Department of Thailand declared. She characterized the summit's theme as a collective roadmap asserting that while delivery mechanisms evolve, the objective of safeguarding public interest remains resolute. Turning to global affairs, specifically conflicts in Western Asia, she stated that journalists must operate as critical conduits for humanitarian assistance. It is a core moral responsibility to authentically document and expose human suffering, she underscored. Addressing the rapid proliferation of artificial intelligence, she observed that while the technology introduces unprecedented speed and operational ease, it simultaneously poses a profound threat as an instrument for the dissemination of disinformation. Elaborating on this dynamic, she provided a refined perspective of the industry's horizon, asserting that the future of media will not be determined by the sophistication of the software utilized, but is instead fundamentally anchored in the strength of forged collaborative relationships and the profound depth of trust placed in the media by audiences and listeners. Reaffirming the AIBD's commitment to cultivating a robust electronic media ecosystem across the Asia-Pacific region, she called upon the sector to engage in rigorous dialogue to expand the role of technology and formulate the pivotal strategic decisions required to responsibly guide the industry's evolution before the summit concludes on the 14th of May.
Mohammed Sharif, the Chief Executive Officer and Managing Director of the Bank of Maldives, says that in an era characterized by the rapid dissemination of information across digital platforms, preserving the accuracy and credibility of the news is imperative for the stability of both the financial system and the broader economy.
Speaking at the opening ceremony of the 21st Asia Media Summit at the Villa Nautica Maldives Resort, Sharif underscored that the financial and media sectors are deeply intertwined. The summit, which runs from the 11th to 14th May under the theme Maldives 2.0 From Tradition to Tech, is organized jointly by the Asia Pacific Institute for Broadcasting Development and Public Service Media, with the Bank of Maldives serving as the main sponsor. Public confidence in the financial system is heavily dependent upon the quality and factual precision of information delivered to the public, the chief executive noted. Such trust extends far beyond domestic consumers and commercial enterprises, Sharif said, exerting a direct impact on the international relationships that serve as a foundation of the national economy, including corresponding banking networks, global investors, and international development agencies. The immediate and accurate distribution of news is vital for sustaining institutional trust and maintaining social stability, Sharif cautioned. While technological advancements have accelerated global communication, upholding factual integrity and professional ethics remain an absolute imperative. He contextualized digital transformation as a fundamental mechanism for societal inclusion, intended to facilitate seamless access to services and ensure equitable opportunities for all individuals, regardless of geographic location. The media serves as an essential national partner, Sharif said in his concluding address. He highlighted the bank's ongoing commitment to the sector, noting that the Bank of Maldives has consistently provided financial assistance, sponsorship, and strategic support to foster the development of the nation's broadcasting and media industries.
Public Service Media PSM Chairperson Aminat Namza says the role of the media extends far beyond merely disseminating information. It serves as a powerful vehicle for exposing and amplifying the grassroots initiatives that drive meaningful social and environmental transformation across societies.
During her address at the second plenary session of the Asia Media Summit, Namza emphasized the most profound changes in the world often emerge not from government policies or institutional mandates, but from quiet, community-led actions rooted in awareness and collective responsibility. She drew attention to a striking observation about the nature of progress, explaining that meaningful transformation frequently begins at the most grassroots levels when ordinary individuals decide to take responsibility for the world around them. The session featured a presentation showcasing the Saniva Namuna Initiative, a noteworthy program operating across the atolls at the Maldives that focuses on advancing waste management practices, reducing dependence on single-use plastics, and promoting environmental education within local communities. The initiative was highlighted as a compelling example of how targeted community engagement can address environmental challenges that affect island nations disproportionately. Namza used this example to illustrate her broader point about the potential for grassroots movements to create ripples of positive change that extend far beyond their immediate geographic scope. Addressing these specific challenges facing island nations, Namza noted that environmental concerns are not abstract policy discussions for countries like the Maldives, but rather daily realities that citizens confront with unwavering regularity. She argued that this immediacy makes community involvement not just beneficial, but absolutely essential for developing effective and lasting solutions. When communities are directly affected by environmental degradation, they possess both the motivation and the intimate knowledge required to implement meaningful responses that more distant policymakers might overlook. The PSM chairperson also spoke to the amplification effect that responsible media coverage can have on grassroots initiatives, explaining that spotlighting successful community-driven projects through thoughtful journalism creates impacts that transcend the original context. Namza reaffirmed her conviction that storytelling and meaningful explanation constitute forces for positive change in their own right. The responsibility of media professionals, she concluded, lies not only in reporting events, but in recognizing, appreciating, and magnifying the ideas and actions that contribute to a more sustainable and conscientious society.
In a striking indication of the demand for housing facing the Maldives, the Minister of Infrastructure, Housing and Urban Development, Dr. Abdullah Muttalib, reveals the government has received over 37,000 applications for its inaugural housing project.
Housing Minister Dr. Abdullah Muttalib says the overwhelming response to the government's housing scheme highlights the severe housing crisis in the Greater Male region. Speaking at a press conference at the President's office, the minister revealed that 20,000 formal applications have already been submitted, while another 17,000 remain in progress. The scheme is open only to couples who do not own a home or land, and applications are set to close this month. The minister said the large number of applicants reflects the urgent need for affordable housing. He also reviewed major housing projects carried out in 2008, including 1,000 flats financed by China's Exim Bank, 1,500 Tata flats, and 180 Coralville units. During President Dr. Mohamed Muizz's tenure as housing minister, over 10,000 flats were developed, including the HIA project, Veneris Flats, Hulumale Pink Flats, and additional units built by state-owned enterprises. Another 4,000 flats started under the previous administration were completed by the current administration. According to Minister Muttalib, the current administration has already begun construction on 3,260 housing units in the capital region. Funding is being provided through several sources, including the Bank of Maldives, interest-free loan programs, Saudi assistance, and India's line of credit, which supports 4,000 units. In total, the government has allocated 10,700 flats under the current housing program, though land shortages have reduced the original target of 12,000 units. The minister added that the government is now working with HDC to free additional land for housing projects and is also exploring public-private partnerships to build another 1,000 affordable flats. He reaffirmed the administration's commitment to developing Hulumale Phase 3 and Golifalu to provide long-term housing solutions for residents.
Airlines already grappling with soaring jet fuel prices are facing a second blow as supply shortages disrupt flight schedules and crew rotations. Industry groups and carriers said heightening safety and operational concerns across Nigeria's aviation sector.
The National Association of Aircraft Pilots and Engineers, NAPE, said persistent jet fuel scarcity has triggered widespread operational challenges, including flight delays, route adjustments, and extended crew duty periods. NAPE President Captain Bumi Ginde said the shortages were pushing crews beyond planned limits, increasing fatigue and potentially eroding safety margins in an industry governed by strict rest regulations. Local carrier Renault Air said this week that jet fuel prices, now more than 4 times higher according to the airline, have rendered some routes commercially unsustainable, forcing operational adjustments. Industry sources said other carriers have also begun rescheduling or canceling flights and dropping unprofitable routes. The disruptions come at a difficult time for Nigeria's aviation sector, already strained by foreign exchange volatility, high aircraft maintenance costs, pressure on airport infrastructure, and fuel price swings. Airlines last month threatened to suspend operations over what they described as crippling and artificially inflated jet fuel prices.
United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres warns that collapsing aid budgets and climate change were deepening economic and social pressure across Africa, calling the situation a crisis of solidarity as global needs rise.
Speaking at the Africa Forward Summit in Nairobi, Guterres said official development assistance was falling just as demand was growing, with aid commitments being cut back or withdrawn.
As we all know, official development assistance is collapsing. Aid budgets cut, partnerships unwound, commitments walked back just as the need is greatest. So this is not only a financial crisis, this is a crisis of solidarity.
Guterres highlighted climate change as a central challenge, noting that Africa has contributed least to global warming but is experiencing some of its harshest effects, including displacement, crop losses, and economic shocks. He said volatile energy markets, reliance on fossil fuels, and fragmented trade were worsening inflation and fiscal stress across the continent. The remarks came as African and European leaders gathered in Nairobi for the Africa Forward Summit, co-hosted by Kenya and France, focusing on economic cooperation, climate change, youth engagement, and reform of global governance structures.
LeBron James wasn't ready to make a decision about his NBA future in the wake of the Los Angeles Lakers' season-ending loss to the Oklahoma City Thunder.
The visiting Thunder prevailed 115-110 to sweep a Western Conference semifinal series, despite James registering 24 points and a game-high 12 rebounds. James, 41, just completed his record-setting 23rd NBA season, and the league's all-time leading scorer is heading into unrestricted free agency.
I mean, what my future, I don't know, obviously. I mean, obviously we're still fresh from, obviously losing. And I don't know. I mean, I don't know what the future holds for me, obviously, as it stands right now tonight. I got a lot of time. I'll sit back, like I think I said it last year after we lost, I think, to Minnesota, to go back and recalibrate with my family and talk with them and spend some time with them. And then when the time comes, I obviously, you guys know what I decide to do.
James was selected to his 22nd consecutive All-Star game as he thrived in an unfamiliar role for much of the season. Luka Doncic was the Lakers' top offensive threat, and he led the league with an average of 33.5 points per game. Austin Reeves ranked second on the team at 23.3, with James third at 20.9. James contributed 7.2 assists and 6.1 rebounds per contest. Doncic missed all of the Lakers' playoff games due to a hamstring injury. Reeves sat out the final 5 regular season games and the first 4 postseason games because of oblique strains. In the playoffs, James averaged 23.2 points, 7.3 assists, and 6.7 rebounds. Meanwhile, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who scored 35 points to lead Oklahoma City Thunder into the Western Conference Finals, said they have done their job so far.
American designer Ralph Lauren makes history as the first individual to curate an official collection of United States Postal Service stamps.
The 13 stamps, titled American Icons, celebrate the country's 250th birthday. The images of Americana include teddy bears, baseball mitts, and iconic U.S. landscapes. According to the fashion house, the USPS, United States Postal Service, asked Lauren to do so, quote, in honor of his contributions to American design and transformative influence on our collective visual identity, unquote. Lauren founded his brand 60 years ago in New York, which is considered itself an American brand rooted in heritage, landscapes, cultures, and artistry. The official dedication ceremony will be held on June 9th in New York and will be open to the public.
That concludes news for now. Thank you for watching PSM News. Have a good day.